Hello, it's Marcus Alton from the tribute website brianclough.com, and my next guest on The Green Jumper played a key role in the successful and trophy-winning sides that Brian Clough built in the late 1980s and early 90s. He was so fast on the wing that Cloughie once said he'd run him as a greyhound if he ever considered a change of career. It's the winger who had lightning speed, Franz Carr, and in the forthcoming full interview he recalls a Forest training match where he came up against Psycho himself, Stuart Pearce.
I remember the first time Stuart came. He came in with Ian Butterworth, this signed, and Cloughie said, I've got a left back, we've just bought a left back, you can play against him. And I always remember my first training session, and he kicked the hell out of me. I just thought, who's this? I had a busted lip, I had a dead leg, and he was raw then, pure passion, and just basically just a raw left back who just kicked anything that moved. But again, being with a manager like Brian Clough, you know, he taught him a lot of things, and obviously, like I said, Stuart, with that personality and that drive, that got him through to be the person he is today. He was a leader, he was a mentor, and he led by example.
Franz joined Forest when he was just 17 years old, and he tells me how he learned so much from Brian Clough.
I think all the players who played for him, especially at that time, you wanted to please him, so I think it was more about listening to his instructions. We all got taught manners, respect, you know, anything you can think of, which was small details. Cloughie had that off to a T. It's only when you get older you realise that he installed all the ingredients for what we are today. All the players, I mean, Marcus, you've met them all, and you'll see that the players from our era are all respectful, good guys, and that's all down to Cloughie.
You made your debut in October '85 at Aston Villa for Forest. You'd spent a while in the reserves. Did Brian give you any warning that you were going to play in the first team?
He never did with anybody. I think it was quite a shock. I think anybody who makes a debut at Forest, you just get thrown in the deep end, and you've got to cope with it. But he will know, he knew at the time when to put players in, when to take them out. He was just a genius at that, and getting to know the players individually, you know, the way they are, how they react. So, you know, I think when they talk about psychologists these days, he was a mixture of all them things: psychologist, mentor, you know, sort of like playing on the edge. And having a blend of football which was simplified. He made it simple.
I've got a player profile from another matchday programme here, with you sitting in probably a new car, because you like your cars, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was a sponsored car, and I think it was a Nissan. And the thing is with that car, what I had there, everybody had the same car. So you can imagine when you drove in, if you didn't know where you'd park your car, you just had to try and press the button to see where you were, because some lads got lost with the cars. They're all the same cars. Yeah. But well, I think back in the day when you're young and things are going well, and I think with, you know, people used to say I was a speed merchant or whatever, then you'd have a car fitting for that. But yeah, they were good days.
There's a player profile here, and it sort of asks you favourite player, hobbies, favourite newspaper. I wonder if I could just test you with a couple of questions to see if you remember. I mean, this is going back to October '87, it says. And it says, let's see, favourite ground. What would that have been?
Did I say Anfield? Did I say Liverpool?
You said Anfield, yeah. Correct, yeah. Favourite player?
There was a lot at that time, but I would say winger-wise, it might have been either Glenn Hoddle or Steve Coppell.
Yeah, you were right first time. Glenn Hoddle. Yeah. Excellent. Favourite other sportsman?
Daley Thompson at the time. He was the man. He did the decathlon. He won everything. And probably Daley Thompson.
Excellent. That is really good. Because some of the players I've asked can't quite remember. It is a long time ago. Now, an interesting one. Nickname. And there are actually three that are broadcastable.
I'm going to say, if they're from Clough, there's a few X-rated things. Yeah. I think that one of them would be Shy Man.
Yes.
And that's because I wasn't shy. That's why they called me shy. It's completely opposite. Because I think Liam O'Kane and Ronnie Fenton used to say, they used to call me Shy Man sometimes, and they didn't realise what it was for, because I would always be, not opinionated, but I wasn't shy, because when you're small as a player and you've got a lot of the other guys who are big and tall, you have to probably do more work because you can get knocked around. Yeah. And I think you had to have a bit of a presence, weights and things like that. I had to do a lot of that because you just get, obliterated by other players.
And the other two were from Stuart Pearce, two nicknames. Can you remember?
Pearce. No. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think he used to call me Sweet Pants.
Yes, Sweet Pants.
Sweet Pants, yeah, Pearcey. I forgot about that. Yeah, Pearcey Sweet Pants. Yeah, I think, I don't know, because I think it was more to do with because Clough used to always be saying, "Oh, Franzi, give the ball to Franzi," and all this type of stuff. So I was very popular at the time, and to be fair to Clough, he was really good to me. So I can't really complain about the way my career went at that time, because everything was going well.
Yeah. And the other one was Marigold.
God. I have no idea where that one comes from.
No. But maybe you did the washing up in your Marigolds or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, some good memories from '87 there. Franz also talks about the man who was his apprentice at the City Ground. He's now the manager, Sean Dyche.
He was a great lad. I mean, most of the lads who are apprentices do the jobs. But at the time when Sean was here, there were so many talented players. He had a setback with injuries. Steve Stone was here at the same time. They were obviously close mates, and Ian Wallen. And Stoney broke his leg 3 times. And Dyche will always say to me, he always remembers me in my cars and my shiny shoes and stuff like that. But I mean, to watch his career blossom as a manager and being in the Premier League, for him to be back here now, it's like a coming home, and there's a feel-good factor. I just hope he gets the opportunity to implement his style. He's got the players which he's never had before, so if the Forest fans give him time and persevere with him, I think it's a good fit.
The interview also looks at the difficult times when contract talks were played out in newspaper headlines, plus his move to Newcastle, despite putting the phone down on the manager Ozzy Ardiles.
I think it's twice it happened, and then the third time I had to apologise to Ozzy. Said I didn't realise, I thought it was one of the lads taking the mickey, but Ozzy understood that and realised we had a good laugh about that.
During the interview, I also show Franz an archive newspaper cutting containing praise from Clough. It followed his home debut against Arsenal. I found a cutting where Brian Clough praises your bravery. Franz Fearless is the headline here. And it says that you showed real character by continuing in that game, even though a challenge had split your shin pad, incredibly. He said you could have come off at half-time, but you continued. And for me, that showed real character. That must have impressed him.
Definitely. I mean, that's the first time I've heard that as well. So, I mean, your research is unbelievable. Because some of these cuttings I've not seen before. So it is pleasing and it's nice to hear from a manager, especially, in the heights of Brian, to give you them sort of tributes. But them days, like I said, I think he threw young players in to see what the resolve was like, see if they could cope with the pressure. But sometimes you think you'd be playing every week and he'd take you out. So it was that sort of unpredictability of, were you going to play every week or was he going to drop you? So he kept you on your toes. And
he didn't like you doing after-match interviews, I don't think. And that was not just you, but several players. And there was an occasion, I understand, when Match of the Day wanted to interview after a game. He said no. And a plan was drawn up to tackle that. What happened?
Yeah, it was a game, I think it was a cup game against QPR, and we won the game. And obviously they asked for certain players to come out and do an interview. And at that time they asked for me. It was John Watson on Match of the Day, asked for me to come out. And Clough said, there's no way you're going out, Franz. They might want you, but you're staying here. So I just thought, okay, just get on with it. But there's a young apprentice, a young black lad called Sean Brown, similar size to me. And Clough said, listen, young Brownie, you can go and do his interview for him. So he said, get yourself a towel, throw some water on you, and then get out there and do Franz's interview. So, you're sort of thinking, what the hell's going on here? So he goes into the bathroom, throws the water on his face, got a tow around his thing and does the interview with John Motson. And then 5-10 minutes later, he's come back in. He said, "Did you do it, the interview?" He said, "Yes, boss." He said, "How did it go?" I said, I thought it went well. So as soon as he came back in, Brian said, "Listen, Franz, you owe Sean £50 for doing your job." So I mean, he was that type of character, just thinking, 50 quid, I've not done anything. And John Motson, I remember at the time, John Motson said they knew it wasn't me, but it actually got played out on Match of the Day. So there's so many stories with Cloughy. I mean, Mark Crossy tells him, the other lads tell him, Des has started to tell him, and anybody who's played under him, there's so many stories which were great stories.
Yeah, great memories.
Yeah.
And there are more great memories in the full interview with Franz coming soon. It's one not to be missed.
Hello, this is Franz Carr. You're listening to the Green Jumper podcast with Marcus Alton. Highly commended in the Independent Podcast Awards. And definitely, you've got to listen to this because it's a great interview. And he's interviewed so many different players in the past and he knows his history.
Make sure you subscribe for more memories of the great man in the green jumper.